In the early 16th century, England stood firmly under the spiritual authority of Rome. The Pope's word was final, kings bowed before the church, and no monarch dared challenge the supremacy of Catholic power. But one king would change that forever, King Henry VIII of England. Henry VIII ascended the English throne in 1509, young, charismatic, and determined to secure his dynasty. He married Catherine of Aragon, a devout Catholic and the widow of his late brother. For years, the marriage seemed stable, but tragedy struck again and again. Catherine gave birth to several children, yet only one survived, Princess Mary. To Henry, this was a disaster. England had recently endured the bloody Wars of the Roses, and Henry believed that without a male heir, the kingdom would descend once more into chaos. Over time, his fear hardened into obsession. He became convinced that his marriage was cursed by God, citing a verse from Leviticus that condemned marrying a brother's widow. By the mid-1520s, Henry had made up his mind. He must divorce Catherine of Aragon. Henry turned to Pope Clement VII, confident that his request would be granted. After all, he was the King of England and had once been honored as defender of the faith. But the Pope refused. Catherine of Aragon was the aunt of Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, one of the most powerful men in Europe. Granting the divorce would provoke imperial fury. Trapped by politics, the Pope delayed, deflected, and ultimately denied Henry's request. To Henry, this was not just rejection, it was humiliation. Henry demanded loyalty, not conscience. His closest advisor, Sir Thomas More, a brilliant scholar and devout Catholic, refused to support the king's claim that the monarch, not the Pope, was the head of the church in England. More would not bend his faith to royal will. Henry had him arrested. In 1535, Sir Thomas More was executed for treason, not because he plotted against the king, but because he refused to deny the authority of the Pope. Another powerful figure, Cardinal Thomas Wolsey, failed to secure the divorce and fell from royal favor. He died in disgrace before he could be tried. Later, Thomas Cromwell, the architect of the English Reformation, would also be executed, proof that in Henry's court no loyalty guaranteed safety. Breaking from Rome. When persuasion failed, Henry chose rebellion. In 1534, Parliament passed the Act of Supremacy, declaring King Henry VIII the supreme head of the Church of England. With one stroke of law, England severed ties with Rome that had existed for over 1,000 years. Henry divorced Catherine without papal approval and married Anne Boleyn, hoping she would give him the son he desperately wanted. She did not. Anne was later accused of treason and executed, another victim of Henry's relentless pursuit of a male heir. The birth of the Anglican Church under Henry's command, monasteries were dissolved, church lands seized, and religious power centralized under the crown. The Church of England, later called the Anglican Church, was born, not from theology alone, but from royal will. Ironically, Henry remained Catholic in belief. He rejected papal authority, but upheld many Catholic doctrines. The true Protestant transformation would come later, under his children. Henry VIII did eventually father a male heir, Edward VI, but the boy died young. The throne later passed to Mary I and Elizabeth I, daughters Henry once considered failures. Yet his legacy endured. By defying the Pope, executing trusted advisors, and placing himself above the Church, Henry VIII changed the course of English and global history. The Anglican Church still stands today as a reminder that sometimes the greatest revolutions begin not with belief, but with ambition.